The NHL just had one of its wildest weeks of the season. The Toronto Maple Leafs won the 2026 NHL Draft Lottery and now could land a superstar prospect in Gavin McKenna with the number 1 overall pick. Meanwhile, San Jose Sharks grabbed the number 2 pick and continue building one of the best young cores in hockey with Macklin Celebrini already leading the future. In the playoffs, the Carolina Hurricanes are headed to the conference finals, while the Colorado Avalanche and Minnesota Wild are locked in an all-out war. Nathan MacKinnon is putting up historic playoff numbers, but Kirill Kaprizov and the Wild just punched back with a dominant Game 3 win. And don't look now, but the Montreal Canadiens and Anaheim Ducks are suddenly making serious noise in the postseason. Young stars are taking over the NHL, and the future of hockey has officially arrived. We got huge draft lottery drama, playoff chaos, breakout stars taking over the postseason, and debate brewing around who could become the next face of the league. Toronto Maple Leafs officially won the 2026 NHL Draft Lottery. Carolina Hurricanes are already heading to the conference finals, and the Colorado Avalanche and Minnesota Wild are in the middle of one of the nastiest playoff battles we've seen all spring. Maple Leafs won the draft lottery. What could we take away from this?
Yeah, the biggest headline of the week, off the ice at least, the Toronto Maple Leafs landed the number 1 overall pick in the 2026 NHL draft, despite having just an 8.5% chance to do so in the lottery. That's now the 3rd time in franchise history Toronto owns the top pick, and fans immediately started about dreaming the possibility of Gavin McKenna out of Penn State coming to Toronto. McKenna is viewed by many scouts as a franchise-changing talent, elite puck control, elite vision, dangerous release, basically the kind of player that teams build around for the next decade. He put up 51 points in 35 games as a freshman and dominated at every level before that. Now, the interesting part of this is the timing, as Toronto just hired John Chayka as their new general manager with senior advisor Matt Sundin, and immediately they inherit one of the biggest draft decisions in the history of the franchise.
Yeah, and here's the big discussion point about this. Do the Maple Leafs automatically take McKenna, or do they entertain moving the pick for multiple assets to speed up the rebuild? Because this draft class is kind of loaded. You've got Swedish forward in Ivor Stenberg rising fast, plus a stacked class of defensemen, including Chase Reed, Carson Carrolls, and Daxon Rudolph. But if you ask me, when you have a chance to draft a potential superstar centerpiece, you do not overthink it. That's how franchises change overnight. Always draft best available, Frank. Every sport. It works out better if you do that.
Especially when you have the number 1 pick.
Correct.
And no one can take anyone else. The team behind them, though, the San Jose Sharks, they grab the number 2 pick, and somehow this team keeps finding itself near the top of the draft. Over the last 4 years, they've landed elite young talent, including Will Smith, Macklin Celebrini, and Michael Misa. They now add another premium prospect. And honestly, San Jose may quietly be building one of the scariest young cores in the NHL. As general manager Mike Greer even hinted that he can consider trading the pick, which would immediately become one of the biggest offseason storylines in the NHL.
Yeah, if they stay at 2, they could land Stenberg or one of these franchise caliber defensemen. But with Celebrini already looking like the future a superstar, Sharks rebuild suddenly feels ahead of schedule as they try to compete with the 2 other California the other California teams that have made the playoffs and one still alive in the playoffs. And let's transition into the Stanley Cup playoffs, because you have chaos everywhere. This postseason has been absolutely insane. Carolina has officially clinched their spot into the Eastern Conference Final. They're the first team into the conference finals, continuing one of the most complete playoff runs in hockey. Meanwhile, the series everybody is watching right now is Colorado and Minnesota. Colorado leads the series 2-1, but Minnesota responded Game 3 with a dominant 5-1 win, and the Wild are suddenly getting offense from everywhere, especially their defensemen.
Yeah, Quinn Hughes and Brock Faber each already have 4 goals this postseason, helping Minnesota set a franchise record from the blue line. But the biggest name in this series is still Nathan MacKinnon, who is scoring at a historic pace. He already has 60 career playoff goals and is reaching milestones faster than almost anyone in NHL history, not named Gretzky or Lemieux. On the other side, Kirill Kaprizov continued to build on his performance this postseason with another 3-point night in game three. Colorado leading the series 2-1. This series feels like it's going to go all seven. And honestly, as Western Conference Classic written all over it.
And speaking of the Western Conference, and well, a couple of other series out there that are starting to shake some things up. It's the Canadiens in the Eastern Conference and the Anaheim Ducks in the Western Conference. Two younger teams that have also made statements over the weekend. Montreal crushed Buffalo 6-2 behind goals from Cole Caulfield and Slifkovsky, as well as Kirby Doc. The Bell Center was electric, and suddenly Montreal has all the momentum in that series. And out west, Anaheim tied their series with the Vegas Golden Knights at 2 games apiece after a huge 4-3 win at the Honda Center. Ducks team is young, they are fast, they are fearless, and maybe ahead of schedule. That building in Anaheim is looking a lot like it looked like playoff hockey from the early 2000s again, which was great to see. But the big question this week, which rebuild would you rather have right now? Toronto's number 1 overall pick or San Jose's already loaded young core? It's kind of hard to go against being the number 1 overall pick.
I would personally take San Jose's because while Toronto does have the number 1 overall pick, and while you do have that Nathan McKenna, Austin Matthews is making a lot of money. William Nylander's making a lot of money. John Tavares is making a lot of money. They have a lot of big names under contract where San Jose does not have that. So they can go out and still try to build off of this for young players. So honestly, I would probably rather be San Jose at this point.
Plus, you have Celebrini, who is already a proven NHL star at this point in time.
Still on his baby contract too.
We'll have more updates on the NHL playoff next week.